Hey guys, so in this tutorial we're going to work on generating some rail geometry that goes along the width of our seating structure. So the way we're going to do that is by starting with this sweep surface that we generated previously. And the first thing I want to show you is we have a couple of different options for offsetting this surface, and I want to use this surface as a driver to generate our rail curves. We're not going to use iso curves that we did previously. We're going to use the contouring method. I'll explain soon. So let's plug a couple of things into here. I plug 40 into there and it's pretty quick. And I plug it into there and it takes about half a second to load. It does it, but it's pretty laggy. And that's because this offset surface component does it in a fairly strict way. So it takes a lot longer, whereas this one doesn't care as much. So it's a lot more haphazard. I just want to make that a negative actually. So again, we talked about, in offering computational design solutions, it's not just designing the end product, it's designing the workflow that creates the end product and making sure that that's as quick and as easy to understand, for example, as possible. So that being said, now we want to generate some contours through it. So let's take our shape, distance. We'll use this for now. I want to make it start below 0. The reason being is I can have a bit more control over the where the contours kind of start. Let's try that. I kind of want to get around 6. Oh, what am I doing? It'd probably help if I plugged it into the right component. There we go. We've got 6 there. And then what I'm going to do now is I want to sort all these around like an N curve. So because if I were to do this, I think there's 6 in there at the moment, and I flatten them. The order is a little bit jumbled. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to sort them around the sweep surface. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to borrow some of these curves and I'm going to unplug that. So I should have that N curve, and I've written a C# component that I will explain to you what goes on underneath here. We'll write it together in a tutorial to come this week. Pretty much what it does is takes a whole bunch of curves that are flattened, and firstly it aligns them, makes them all go in the one direction. Observe. So these contours have start points here and here, whereas the ones that come out all have their start points here, which is great. And it'll sort them around this curve. So let's have a look if that does it now. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. So what we're going to do now, and I'll show you a little look at this now. If you actually want to code it right now, make sure you've got a list of curves coming in and a sort curve like that. I'll sort of pause it here a little bit for you, but again, we'll do a proper code along later on this week. So now what I want to do is take these curves and I want to pull them to these polylines that we generated in the last tutorial. So I'm going to use curve proximity to do that, and I'm going to plug these into there as a flattened list. Yep, and we'll maintain this structure here, which will give me like the intersection points for both, and I think we'll be concerned with these now. So just a quick explanation. So this point on this curve is where this curve has been pulled to. So it's like the closest distance. So what I want to do is I want to rebuild those polylines. So if I do that as it is, we get the data that comes out, because it's based on these polylines. Like we get all those as our branches where we want to go the other way. So we're going to use flip matrix. You can provide a much more thorough explanation for this in person or via Zoom if you need it. Like that. Beautiful. So we've gone from these NURBS curves that are probably, or could be outside our surface, so not outside, to some more jagged polylines, but they're pulled onto our carcass sections. And then what we're going to do, you might notice that some of these, they're not all flat. So let's flatten them very quickly by grabbing, what do I want to do? Grab the endpoint, I think, XY plane, yep. And then we'll project onto that. Like so. Awesome. So that's flattened them back out again. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to give these lines some thickness. We're going to offset curve this time, and we're going to negative, what's a good amount? 30. Oh, we're going to go both sides, don't we? So there's our middle, and then there's our external ones. Beautiful. So I'll leave it there because we'll go into the next tutorial and we'll start to make these 3D and start to work on subtracting them away from our other, what do we call it? Our section, what are we calling it? Our carcass sections. Cool.